Hey, Carnies, and welcome to this week's Sideshow. I'm Jacques.
I'm Joe.
And now that we are full into the Christmas season...
Officially.
Not the holiday season. You know, and it's not like that Joe and I aren't respectful, or I'll speak for myself. It's not that I'm not respectful for other cultures and other ways to celebrate this time of year, but I grew up with Christmas. That's what I celebrate.
Let's just say, okay, it's not a universal, it's not the holiday season.
Right.
For me,
right,
it's the Christmas season. That's all. And it's fine. Like for broadcast purposes, like, you know, Disney has to say holiday special.
Correct.
Cool. Because guess what? There are more than an awful lot of honkies watching, you know, Christmas specials or holiday specials this time of year. There's multiple celebrations going on. But unfortunately, for all intents and purposes, every holiday themed special that is going to be showing up on our sideshows from now through Christmas are going to be Christmas themed.
There might be a mention of Hanukkah Harry. But the funny thing is...
On Herschel, on Heimer, on Shlomo.
The funny thing is, it's unlike a lot of people where I grew up, I actually have friends who are Muslim. I actually have a lot of Jewish friends. But here's the funny thing. We lived in a Muslim country the last 3 years. Most of the people we're friends with, including the royal family that my wife worked for, had two Christmas trees, like one in their grand foyer and one in their living room. They celebrated Christmas like nobody's business. Same thing. Now, management is now, nannying for a Jewish family. Big Christmas tree, big Christmas party, all this stuff. So I don't feel...
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah. So I don't feel bad because when I see my mom, I don't say, Happy Holidays, Mom, so...
Yeah. I mean, whatever. For all intents and purposes, all of our specials are going to be Christmas themed because that's what we know.
Right. We know the Jews killed Christ. I can see your house from up here. But seriously, so today's sideshow, I threw this out to Joe, and I don't know exactly what triggered this, but I was thinking of all the industries that are just around now, that just pop up either right after Thanksgiving, before, and December 26th. They're not the clearance sale, and then 27th they're out of business.
Well, you got to think about it because those bodegas that pop up for Halloween, like Spirit Halloween,
right,
and like those little cottage stores pop up and then go away once Halloween's over. There really should be a Thanksgiving niche market. Like, do you think there should be like a Thanksgiving pop-up store that just happens to come up in every November?
Sell Pegram hats and pock blankets,
smallpox blankets
and stuff like that.
Oh, you.
But no, I think the Paul Lynde Thanksgiving special covers it all. But focusing on Christmas, and this one kind of hits home to you. There is a caroling industry.
Yes, my wife does Christmas caroling. Or holiday caroling, whatever you'd like to say. And we're going to say Christmas caroling because I'm an asshole.
Wait, do they sing a Kwanzaa song? When she dresses up in the days of yore and goes out there, are there Kwanzaa songs that they're
I don't
singing?
remember there being a Kwanzaa carol in Dickensian England.
Right.
But she does go Christmas caroling with a group professionally,
and it's costumes. It's the whole nine
yards. Yeah. So that's a little cottage industry that people do. It's a side gig. I mean, none of this stuff you're not going to make $60,000 a year on.
But it's crazy. It starts early because I was here a few weeks ago, and your son does it as well, and they're getting out their calendars. And I'm like, wait a minute, caroling now? Yeah,
I think they were booking in advance in anticipation, like after the Thanksgiving holiday thing. But I think there was like a gig pre-Thanksgiving. I don't know.
But there's no gigs post the 26th. Like come the morning of the 26th, their caroling season's done.
Yeah, there's a New Year's thing, but
it's there. Okay.
They do go in the
but
New
it
Year's.
is the Christmas season.
That's
it's done after that. So this is one of those pop up. It only has about a 30-day shelf life.
I don't know. I think there's a push it to Martin Luther King Day, but I don't see that happening.
And I didn't know about this industry, and I don't know where it's big and where it's not. I had a boss a few years back, lives in one of those gated communities in California. and they have a professional company come in that does all the house decorations. Now, there's some people who do it themselves, but that's actually an industry where professional people will come and, and it's again, it's like, yeah, you can do it yourself, but they can do in a half hour, an hour, what will take you an entire weekend because this is all they do and they have the right tools to hang this and that and set all this stuff up. But that's one of those other cottage industries. I don't know if they're around for Valentine's Day, if they, if they also do like Halloween yard decorations, but I know that that's an industry that you wouldn't think of outside of the now until this, the week before Christmas. They're not needed on the 25th.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only other alternative to that is to be Clark W. Griswold and just sort of decorate your own house to the fullest extent of the law.
One of the other things I'll have to check with my sister. My mom wanted it to be a thing, and it started to be a thing with her in the late 80s, the mid 80s, and she passed it along to my sister who did it a bit. And I think it's all fallen to my brother now, and that is collecting those houses. And there's a couple companies that just make those, old-fashioned. You know what I'm talking about as I'm babbling?
No, like doll houses,
but they're smaller. They're really they can go under the Christmas tree. You can set up, and I'm not talking,
like the little villages,
Christmas villages, and it's crazy because it's one of those industries where families pass these things down. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 big companies that's been doing it, and like every year they have like one new house, and that's one of those big things that every year you get one more house. And my brother, the way his house, he has like one of those splits where is that what you call it? Where you come in the front door and there's like 5 steps down?
Split level, yeah.
Over his door, there's like a little archway type thing inside the house that is maybe 8 feet wide by maybe 2 feet deep by like 6 feet wide type thing. And and he's put them up there years ago and they stay up there year round and it's great. I don't know if my sister still puts it up, but I know so many people, and my mom really wanted it to be a family thing. Those fucking houses go for a few $100.
Yeah. I mean, they're only meant for Christmas, so there's like a very limited appeal. But and I'm sure that because of their fragility, they are highly collectible, and they're probably well crafted.
Oh, they're absolutely the craftsmanship on it. They're brilliant. They're really, really great. But it's one of those things. It's like you can't have fucking real kids,
right?
You know what I mean? Around that, I had like just now would I possibly think of having anything but paper cups in our house?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about the Christmas house sets as sort of like a niche industry. Like, I wonder, is that like a Hallmark thing? No, that's a different company. Hallmark sends, they do the ornaments and stuff like that.
They probably have a line of it, and I should have done some research. Call my sister. What is the name of those? But it is. My mom, every year for a good 10, 15 years, that's what she gave. That was the big present that went to my sister, because those things are a couple $100.
I don't see this on the list of stuff that we're going to talk about, but you're making me think of the train under the tree,
right?
Like that Lionel kind of train. I mean, Lionel trains. Maybe that's a whole other thing, but they actually have like specifically made Christmas, like Santa's, the Polar Express kind of thing, like that, like these little under the tree train sets that are specifically made for Christmas.
Watch anything from It's a Wonderful Life on. There was always a train going around the Christmas tree.
Right. I think it started as like sort of a genuine like, oh, well, you put a train set under the tree and it's cute. Now it's sort of morphed into, you must have a train, and here's the specific Christmas-approved train that you have to buy.
It is. It's one of those things where with the houses, like this year, like the big house from the thing is the train station, or like, one of those things. Yeah, but the train thing. But again, that's just that industry that their sales are done December 20th now. Right. I don't know with shopping, but stuff.
I wonder, it kind of makes you wonder what they do in the off season. Or it kind of makes you wonder what Santa does in the off season. But that's a bigger topic for another sideshow.
Okay, great. Now that we're on it, Santa in the mall.
Yep.
That's
Roy Moore had the first job, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And he would show up in July. It was weird.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? He just had so much love in his heart for the holiday spirit.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
But he But seriously, it's like, and I think, that was, I want to say, what is the big toy store in New York City?
Macy's.
No, there's Macy's, and then there's the other one.
Gimbals.
Is that the one that started with the Santa, the mall Santa thing?
I think so. I mean, you're talking about Miracle on 34th Street.
Right.
You had Gimbals and you had Macy's. Macy's, I think, started the whole thing. But actually, funny you mentioned Macy's. I saw this briefly on the news this week, and I don't know if it's still happening, so I'm probably wrong, and it's probably outdated and fake news by now. Macy's was either planning on or toying with the idea. No, I think they were going forward with appointment-only Santas. Like, you had to book your seat with Santa ahead of time. You couldn't just show up and wait in line for Santa. You had to see Santa by appointment.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
The whole point is to bring people into the store. And then hanging around.
Business 101. You have a lost leader. You are selling this toaster for $5 less than what you paid for it. And you put the display in the very back of the store. So you have to walk by each and every item to the back of the store to get it, and then walk all the way back to the front. And good luck not picking up 20 other things that were marked up $10. I mean, that's the whole thing. Get them in the store and keep them there. But as far as a seasonal only thing, I mean, those start popping up right after Thanksgiving. I mean, right after Halloween now.
Yeah.
And, come December 25th, I mean, that whole thing is just done. I mean, they've now basteurized it.
With the Easter Bunny.
With the Easter Bunny. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
There is another version of it, yeah.
They keep the fence up, and they take off all the red and stuff like that and put little baskets around.
And you don't even know who's in the suit that you're sitting on.
Is it the same? Do you think it's the same?
I wonder. I got to wonder. But then, let's unpack this a little bit.
Oh, see what he did there.
How many generations do you think this is going to last? Because the notion of forcing your child to sit on a stranger's lap and tell him that you were really good all year and beg him for a toy. Yes, I'm not putting Santa on trial here, but just the physical representation of physically bringing... And then obviously explaining to the child, well, he's not even really Santa. He's one of Santa's helpers. Oh, great. So I'm degrading myself, not for the real Santa,
right,
but for one of his lowly henchmen that's dressing like Santa, a Santa impersonator. Do you think it's just going to perpetuate over time?
I think it sticks around for a while. The funny thing is how that industry has to change. I don't know the last time I actually saw a little person as an elf at those things, but that was always, and it's one of those things. Has politically correctness taken jobs away from people who I don't know how much they make seasonally doing that. The other thing is, those packages that they sell, you don't need. Everybody has their own, their camera in there. They don't need yours, but they will sell you, like, for $20, you can have 800 copies of it, but if you want the disc or you want it emailed it to you, it's $50.
Right, the electronic version that you could easily reproduce yourself. Fuck you. We're, hand it over. Cash American.
And again, it was you asked, I think it sticks around just because honestly, there's always going to be grandmas who want those pictures. I mean, do you do the family pictures? Do you?
We do. We do the school well, okay, we haven't done the family picture in a long time. Like, it's been years. But that's just us because we're antisocial weirdos. No, we do the school pictures, but we don't do the family pictures. But again, you get these packages and you send them out to people. Who cares?
Okay, really good point. We've done the family Christmas card a couple times, and because it's me, being uncreatively creative, we always do a family picture where we're being stupid. You got the 3-year-old giving the finger, Merry Christmas, and I'm very realistic. There's been a couple times where management has gone out and gotten like, when the little guy was 1 or 2, like these absolutely adorable, like spaghetti all over the face type picture and make a Christmas card out of it and make like 100 copies of it, that when you're moving 4 years later and you realize you still have 96 copies of it, you're like, what are we doing? But here's the funny thing is, I always thought if 3 or 4 of my friends send like their kids, like, that's great. It's like, maybe I'll put them up on the fridge, but if a friend lives on the other side of the world, here's this kid and my kid's never going to meet their kid or see him once. I'm not going to pretend just because this person was close to me for 10 years, 20 years ago, that our kids are going to be best pals. My mom has a Christmas party every year and has since the early 80s. And sometimes we've had 200 people. Sometimes we've had as low as 100 people. But you've been to my mom's parties.
I have.
Last year, my mom, they have a finish downstairs, and there's like 2 pillars that have like wood around them, like square
paneling. Yeah.
She went back. She, unbeknownst to anybody, has kept everybody's Christmas cards over the years. So all my brother's friends, and my brother, he's still friends with all the people he graduated his GED class with. And they sent him all their pictures all these years. My mom had them in a chronological order, like on like a decorative like streamer coming down. Wow. So when this family came in, here's the Christmas cards that you've sent me over the past 20 years, when it's like it was just you and your girlfriend now, your first Christmas together as husband and wife, and here's you with your 18 and 16-year-old kid, and I'm like, wow, that was a hell of a lot of work, and I was like, I thought that was really, really great.
Right. I mean, that's long-term planning. Like, that's a big payoff to have. But obviously, you take pictures of your family as children for yourself. First and foremost, for yourself, so that you can look back and embarrass them in front of their friends. Yeah, when their significant others come over later. And so last year we did we got the bad sweaters, which sweaters, management, we didn't take the tags off. We went to the mall, got the worst sweaters we could, had a couple lightsabers, so the boys are standing in front of Santa having a lightsaber fight while we're trying to, fake, like, pull them apart. Took the picture, went right in and brought him right back. And I don't know if the boys really understood. It's like, well, it's not stealing, but it's also kind of a douche move to do. That in and of itself is a cottage industry. Right. So stealing from the man. But yeah, so the Christmas Santas, I think they last, for a little while. What is sad, on the topic of, my mom, she so wants Jordan's furniture. Have you gone down to Santa's Village? No. Ever? No. Okay. So in Boston, and I don't know exactly where, there was this whole Santa's Village thing for years. What was the big department store that's gone in Boston? Jordan Marsh. Was it Jordan Marsh? Yeah, Filene's basement. One of them. No, Jordan Marsh was the big one in downtown Crossing. Right. Jordan Marsh has nothing to do with Jordan's furniture. Right. Okay, so I think it is Jordan Marsh. And that was my mom's childhood. It was this whole, this whole Santa's Village, this like probably 10-year before Bedford Falls kind of feel and vibe and animatronics and stuff like that. And by 1950 standards, it was probably fucking jaw-dropping. You know what I mean? You got whisked away to this magical place.
At Christmas time, we all like to hearken back to the olden days and feel once more the magic spell of the past. In a Boston store, this enchanted village of St. Nicholas brings alive the spirit of an old-fashioned New England Christmas. It's something to make every boy and girl wonder. The fabulous village and its inhabitants were made by the craftsmen of a little town in West Germany, where making beautiful Christmas ornaments has been a tradition for generations. The life-size animated figure of an old-time shoemaker makes his footwear by hand, while his next-door neighbor, the village baker, prepares goodies for a Yuletide feast. Just watching them all at their work is a treat in itself.
And I guess when Jordan's went bankrupt, which I'm not sure, have they sponsored us as Jordan's?
I'll have to take a look at that.
But it went into storage for years. Like the city of Boston at one point owned this whole Santa's Village thing because you need a giant warehouse, to put it out there. they owned it for years and tried to do something with it because it was such a historical piece of, like, for somebody, my mom's like now mid-70s, for somebody probably 60 to 80, that was it for a good 20. That was your childhood. That was when you were a young parent. You couldn't wait to take your kid to kind of see it. So Jordan's furniture, they have a couple locations. The one that's way down there, they have it. And my mom so wants it to be part of the guy's life. And they've lived at Disneyland. Like they've been to Disneyland and places around the globe with just jaw-dropping animatronics and stuff like this. And it's not campy enough to be campy. It's old. It's not charmingly old and stuff like that.
It's like first couple of years of Universal Studios.
Yes, like creepy old. Like is. Okay, they got into that Five Nights at Freddy's thing. Is this little child going to come and haunt my dreams versus whisk me away to a magical land of wonder and merriment?
Right, it borders on kidnapping. It's not so much whisking.
Now, it's funny because they make this big deal about, we also have Jordan Marsh's secret original recipe for these muffins. And the guy, Jordan himself, who does the commercials, is always like, that was a big part of their Dunkin' Donuts spot. I mean, it's like, this might have been a big thing back then, but you can't fall down in Boston without falling into one of them. And then they put a Motion Odyssey ride. They have all these bigger frills and attractions to kind of make your kids, like, about the age of your kids, not just be like, oh my God, you put me in a car for an hour for this.
Right.
I'm calling DSS. But that's, again, it's like, I don't know if they take it down the rest of the year, but I can't, and it takes up a lot of space. I mean, this isn't a little 2-3 little houses and like 3 or 4 figures. It's a whole deal. But again, I don't hear about the rest of the year, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they dress it up for other holidays, but I'm pretty sure, they probably just, Jordan's furniture is a monopoly as far as I'm concerned. And for all intents and purposes, it's a furniture monopoly in the New England area. Yeah. They probably got the dough to store it.
Yeah, they bought it, so I don't know how much they got it for. Now, here's another. I don't know if it's a big Christmas thing everywhere else, but in Boston, my entire life, you always hear about the Nutcracker.
Yes.
Have you ever gone?
I don't think I have.
It's awful. It's fucking boring.
You know what? I think my wife worked it. My wife, about 12 years ago, she worked as part of the costume guild, like the Professional Costumers Guild. For all the touring companies that would come into Boston, they would have the union people come in, and she was an apprentice. So she kind of, it's funny, that's a whole clique in and of itself. It's all like the same kind of family and clique from South Boston. It's all South Boston women that are part of this sort of costume guild, and it's a funny story. But anyways, she would work behind the scenes with these ballet dancers, and all I remember from the stories is how much they smoked and how much the costumes stunk because they wouldn't wash them between shows. They wouldn't launder them properly or whatever. So it was just like this bunch of smelly Russians basically dancing around. But I think the Rockettes do that now. I'm thinking of 2 different things. There's the Nutcracker Ballet, but then there's also the Radio City Extravaganza with the Rockettes and Santa Claus, and I've seen that.
So here it was, and look, I'll admit it. I am an uncultured buffoon. You heard it here first. Yeah, exactly. It's like, do I ever want to go to anything like that versus sit on the couch and scream at the Patriots? No, but I've been to museums around the world. I've been to all kinds of plays. Going to a play next week. My cousin Jimmy's play opens in New York next week. So Long Boulder City. It's fantastic. Anyways, we're going to do a sideshow with that. But my mom one year, it's always about my mom because this is my mom's Super Bowl. She wanted us all to go, and she got it. And I wanted to not hate it. Honestly, you go on YouTube and you see parkour videos, like the athleticism in a parkour video versus a ballet. maybe like with Santa's Village and Jordan's, that was something in its day. And I'm not saying ballet dancers aren't incredible athletes, incredibly hardworking and stuff like that, but it's so where again, you put in, you want to have your minds blown, just put in Mario Brothers parkour. And there's a couple guys who do these jaw-dropping parkour videos as the Mario Brothers, and it's fantastic.
So you're talking about having a Mario Brothers ballet is what you want.
Yeah, I go to that. But seriously, it's like every commercial break now, it's like, this once in a lifetime thing. No, I've lived here my whole fucking life. You can see it every year.
Right.
But it goes away soon. Another big Christmas industry, Christmas albums.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't even know last week. You and Jim started talking.
The New Kids on the Block had Funky Funky Christmas, or I think the name of the album was Merry Merry Christmas, but the song in particular is Funky Funky Christmas. But yeah, Christmas albums they've been around since recording. Like this isn't a niche kind of like new millennial kind of thing.
Always.
Bing Crosby and even prior. Like I'm sure Al Jolson had a friggin' Christmas album. If you could listen to music, there was a Christmas album. I mean, you don't go to Goodwill, obviously, because you're rich. But if you were to go to Goodwill...
Hey, where do you think we take our stuff when we're done with it?
But if you were to go to Goodwill in your travels, go to the record section. Yes, they have a record section. 50% of it is old Christmas albums from like Gene Autry and Bing Crosby.
There is a Goodwill... I'm going to go to a Goodwill and see how many Christmas albums I can buy. I will buy any Christmas album under $3. I'll cap it at $3.
Okay, no, but I think records are like $1 a piece.
Okay.
Don't buy every Christmas
I'm going
album.
to buy every one, cap it at like $30 and see how many I can come in.
He's not going to do it.
But
I double dog dare you.
Done. Done.
But now you know what he's going to do? He's going to bring him to my house and leave him.
Yeah. Wait, do you have a record player?
I do.
There you go. Do you have shelves?
I have a shelf.
Okay. So
one spare shelf for these records that are coming.
But I've worked in the music industry for like a long time, and I cannot tell you how many Christmas albums, and it's so awesome. Like every, either an artist at the top of their game, or somebody like wanting a couple minutes. It's so funny. Every year there's like I don't know if the Grammys have a Grammy for Best Christmas Album of the Year, but there's got to be 100 Christmas albums put out every year throughout the genre of music.
Seth MacFarlane has a Christmas album, Holiday for Swing, and I own it.
Do you really?
I own the physical. No, do I own the physical copy?
Is it campy as hell?
He's a legit singer. Like he's a legit.
Gone to karaoke with him.
He's a legit.
Dozen times.
But he takes it seriously. But like a couple of it is tongue in cheek. Like he's trying to be like Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra, that kind of stuff.
Dean Martin's his favorite.
Yeah, right. Like that's like I think Frank Sinatra might. Is it? Do you know?
It's Dean. It's more
Dino. He's a Dino guy. But yeah, like he wants to be Dean Martin, and he pulls it off. On a couple of these songs for Holiday for Swing, which came out like 3 or 4 years ago.
Mele-Kalikimaka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that we send to you from the land where palm trees sway.
But yeah, like Mariah
Is that vanity of vanity?
Mariah Carey like revamped her career from her Christmas album. Right. She has a Christmas, I think, special coming, like a TV special coming out this year.
Well,
that includes her song from like 15, 20 years ago.
I was asked to help produce a Josh Groban Christmas special that they want to shoot like next year for next Christmas, and they plan it that far ahead, and it would be shot in like August or September. And he did a Christmas album 10 years ago that did incredibly well, and every year since there has been one of the most, like each year for 10 years is probably in the top 5 selling Christmas albums. So over the last 10 years, it's, I think, second only to like a 74 Elvis Christmas album as total sales, which is pretty effing impressive, seeing that no one buys albums anymore. So
can you name a non-Christmas oriented Trans-Siberian Orchestra song?
Well, there's that one about that, and then there's that, and the one about the guy, and with that's.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
Can I name another song other than that?
Is Mannheim Steamroller another? Am I mixing things up? Is Mannheim Steamroller like another like group that did.
Another group? I don't know, but I know what you're talking.
Right.
And unfortunately, for better or for worse, I will not associate that song with anything else but Ding Fries Are Done. And it makes me it makes me a bad person. I've grown a great deal over the last 10 years since that video came out, but I can't in my head stop saying Ding Fries Are Done, Ding Fries Are Done every time I hear that.
We can go off on a completely different tangent, like of just Christmas music. So let's move on to the next cottage industry.
Okay. Here is the most glaring Christmas industry, cottage industry thing. Christmas trees.
Yeah.
We went out today, management and I, to look at a tree. However, I never really wanted a real tree, for a lot of reasons. Again, completely giving away to the 3 fans who might ever stalk you where I live. There's a Christmas tree farm in our neighborhood, like right down the street. And now I drive past a Christmas tree farm every day, and it is fucking awesome. And I didn't think, that's where we'll get our Christmas tree. Had pizza delivered the other day. And, the woman goes, oh my God, as soon as I saw the address, I'm like, oh, isn't that by the Christmas tree place? We've been going there for 20 years. And it's a whole thing where they put you and the kids on a tractor. You drive out in the field, you pick your tree together and stuff like that. And now, so we were at like Home Depot and Target, and looking at different trees. I'm like, hey, why don't we go? And so we bought the thing that you put the tree in.
The tree stand?
The tree stand, thank you. Big words, confused. I'm just a caveman.
I'm just an unfrozen caveman.
But now that's an industry where maybe going back 15, 18 years, one of my hockey buddies would disappear, be completely off the grid in September and October because he was a Christmas tree guy. And he had a company. It was just him and a couple buddies. They had all these spots, all these corner lots in and around North Hollywood that they had the rights to sell Christmas trees to. He worked his ass off for 3 months of a year. And that was his only job. He made so much money in those 3 months just going and they would drive up north to Tree Country, like Portland and stuff like that, and just come back with a few truckloads of trees. That was his entire job, the 10 years that I knew him. And again, it's one of those things where December 25th rolls around. There isn't when you were talking about the Halloween shops that pop up, and they used to stay open a few weeks. Now, because of online sales, now it used to be great when the little kids, when we lived in LA, 2-3 days after Halloween, we would go in there. You go in there the first day after Halloween, everything's 50% off. 5 days later, it's 80, 90% off. 6 days later, it's what can you fit in the car and how much change?
This whole bag for $5.
Right. But now, because, if you didn't buy this Luigi costume now, we're just going to sell online. We're repacking. Luigi, which might have been a big seller this year. I know it was a big seller in our household. Probably going to be a big seller next year. So they don't have to
Christmas
get away. But that's the thing. Christmas, you're done. You're done with Christmas trees. However, Christmas tree shops now stay open year round.
Yeah, there's a whole store in the New England area called Christmas Tree Shop.
There's several.
Yeah.
Now and I always thought it's wow, what are they doing?
But they sell tchotchkes. They sell it's almost like the TJ Maxx kind of thing where they sell home furnishings. A lot of basically anything that you can import from China that looks cute on a shelf or you can hang on a wall, that sort of thing. That's their year-round gig.
You said on a shelf. Elf on a shelf.
I never got into it.
Can we find the people who came out with that and break them everything? Honestly, that is the most awful thing ever.
I think Putin invented that. I think it's a Russian conspiracy.
And last year or the year before, there was an Elf on the Shelf Christmas special. It is the most contrived, pandering 60-minute commercial you will watch. And honestly, you don't want to wish ill on people, especially you don't know. I hope everybody associated with that is dying a painful death. Like, I hope the plague comes back and it only ravages those people associated with that. But that's another industry that,
I mean, yeah, right. It's like, but what else would they be doing other than selling elves on the shelves? That one, I wonder if they're selling like other tchotchkes. Like, I wonder if that's like a Hallmark thing, or no, it can't be. No, that's too.
Some asshole
too
came
evil.
up with that.
Yeah,
too evil for Hallmark.
Yes.
They came up with that Valentine's Day bullshit.
Right, they've already cashed in their evil chip. They didn't go so far as Elf on a Shelf.
Speaking about tchotchkes, gift baskets. Are they sold the rest of the year?
Yeah, you can buy. You can buy gift. Basically, you take the candy canes out. And it's a year-long
But do you think the gift basket industry does 90% of its stuff from like now to the 25th?
I wonder. I mean, probably, but I'm sure there are other like, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, VJ Day.
I can't wait for the Paul and VJ Day special. What about, speaking about new industries, bringing jobs back, Christmas apps. Christmas-only apps is now like a big thing.
Oh, like like Santa trackers.
That I'm not guilty of buying 2 Santa trackers.
Buying with money that you've earned or stolen.
Oh well, I don't know another way to get apps from the App Store. I haven't figured.
Well,
that
I mean,
out.
there are free apps.
Right, yeah. But then you have like the advertisement banner at the top. No, I pay the $2 to get a free screen of that. But there's all kinds of Christmas apps now. So that's
But what else are there besides Santa trackers? Like, well, I mean, what other Christmas apps are there?
All kinds of like
Christmas songs,
Christmas like
sounds,
neat things. Again, all the Christmas themed baskets.
Is there like a naughty or nice kind
ornaments? I'm quite sure there is. But while we're on the subject, you know how the Christmas tracking of Santa started with NORAD.
No.
It was, again, I believe it was Macy's. Macy's had a phone Santa type thing.
Huh.
You could call Santa.
I remember those 900 numbers in the 80s and 90s.
This is 40s or 50s. This is 50s. Huh. This is I want to say mid to late 50s. You know what? One time I'm going to do research.
I'm just remembering something, that there is a Santa app, and I think my wife used this on one of my younger ones, where if you were naughty, your kid was pissing you off, you pull up this app on your phone and you call Santa.
Oh.
And you have a pretend phone conversation with Santa, like, oh, little Billy is, pissing on his brother's face again. I told him not to.
What are you, German?
Maybe.
Wow, you went dark early, like right out of the gate, man.
But there's a phone app where you can call. You can call Santa and basically like rat out your kid to Santa.
That's awesome. Well, no, that's the whole Elf on the Shelf thing is the elf watches you sleep. Not creepy at all. Not even a little creepy. And then he leaves in the morning. Like that's the whole thing.
Oh, how does he leave?
Because he has to go back to the North Pole to tell Santa. And kids love this thing. It's like you invited a spy into your house.
Do your kids like Elf on a Shelf?
I had forbade it. I had absolutely forbade it. Foot down. Not on my watch. This is completely bullshit. So last year, management is overseas, and it's me and the guys, and we went into a mall, and they wanted to get into it because some of their friends did, and I'm like, no, your father's bad. This is the one thing you cannot do. And they saw an Elf on the Shelf and Patriot stuff.
Oh.
And they're like, well, get this in Patriots, because they know it's like, hey, you know what I mean? The way through a man's heart is through the chest cavity.
Was it Julian Edelman?
It was just a shelf. And I'm like, no, we're not doing it. No. Then we did our shopping, whatever. The next day, magically, and here's the best thing, it's like, because they have their names, and, we had just got back from the Middle East ourselves, and we would crash with my sister, and she would write a note for it. It named it Martellus. Martellus Bennett is on. Yeah. And so here's what's great. It's like I would be listening to the radio and they're out of it in the car. And I know like Bennett had a touchdown the day before. So they're going to mention his name. I'm like, oh, wait, I got a Christmas feeling. I think they're going to talk about Martellus on the radio, and I would turn it up, and they're like, "Oh, and yesterday Martellus Bennett." All they would hear was the name. Now it was wah Martellus. You know, and it was,
I got a Christmas feeling. I'm never going to let that sentence go. That's a funny. My Christmas sense is tingling.
Loved it, and dude, and this is a podcast they can't listen to, obviously. The pain in the ass of having to get up in the middle of the night every night and put the damn thing away.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
right.
It's like, work.
Christmas isn't hard enough for parents.
Right.
Let's make it a daily thing.
It's bad enough when they lose their teeth and you gotta like remember to get up in the middle of the night and do that. And it's
I've forgotten so many times.
So many.
But then of course, like, you know, the last time they got like $1. And then like if I forgot the next time, then like 2 days later they got $5 for their second tooth that they lost because, you know, he was making up for lost time.
Oh, and I think it was my littlest one, the first tooth he lost, got $5 and started to count his teeth and do the math. And I'm like thinking, oh my God, because he's the crazy one. He will bash his teeth out for like $40. You know, and I'm like, no, buddy, if you do that, you don't get it. They have to come out organically. And I had to explain what that meant a little, because not only is he crazy, he's dumb. So it was, but that's one of the other things that it's only this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to wrap it up, I mean, you have
right, gift wrapping things. Yeah. That's a big thing this time of year. You know, the rest of the year they don't have those.
Nobody wraps presents any other time in history.
Nope. Here you go.
Right. It's all gift cards now.
That's as it should be. Like honestly,
what happened to just giving cold, hard cash?
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a whole
Mom, are you listening?
There's a whole gift cards. That's like, I feel like John Oliver. Where, like, you know, he ruins things.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
This is what I've been doing this with my wife, and I'm pissing her off. But John Oliver has this thing where he'll take something that's kind of banal, but then does an expose on it, and then shows you everything that went wrong with it. So now I do this thing where I go around the house and I go, finally tonight, gift cards, or as I like to call it, Monopoly money. You know, that sort of thing.
See, and this is why Joe chose wrong. I would find that charming and endearing if we were together. I mean, I would, and I have because he does it around me all the time. Each and every time I beg for more, you know, I wouldn't.
Finally tonight, Santa.
and he sells it with his face when he does it. That's the thing that it doesn't come across. So. These are just some of our ideas for cottage industry things. I don't know if we left any off. I'm quite sure Biff will remind me.
Yeah, there will be lots of opportunities for our fans to comment on things that we've missed on our Facebook page, which we haven't really plugged audibly in a while. But you know what? I think at this point people just know.
Or Twitter.
Yeah, or Twitter. Nobody does Twitter. You know,
I do Twitter. I'm killing it on Twitter.
Crush it on Twitter. And
I'm followed by Gronkowski.
And Tom Brady's fan.
But seriously, some of the other specials like we're thinking about is we're going to do a Christmas special sideshow.
A Christmas special.
We're going to do
finally tonight, Charlie Brown.
And it was just the inflection.
America's favorite cancer kid.
Oh, but so Joe did have a really good, really bad, really good idea that we are nixing.
Right. I saved you guys from the 25 days of Christmas from Carnival Personnel that each and every day in December you would see on your podcast feed a 10-minute episode about a certain whatever about Christmas, whether it's a Christmas specials or we talk about, you know, basically like, yeah, like we would be like 25 days of John Oliver.
And finally.
Right. Finally tonight, calendars. Ornaments.
But yeah, so we're only going to do it, you know, the regular ones. But if you have any ideas for Christmas themed, or you know what? holiday themed things. If somebody has a great, Hanukkah thing or Kwanzaa.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, you can suggest it. We're not going to do it because
we're going to mock your God.
We're not going to mock anybody's God. We just it's like us talking about Black Lives Matter. It's just like we have no perspective on the issue. We can mention, we would stumble through such things. Yeah, right. we would probably be mocking it in an effort to honor it. Yeah, right, exactly. So it'd be best if we just stuck with what you know.
So, go ahead and tweet us or Facebook and say, this is stupider than the usual stupid stuff you do, or hey, throw this in there. And we will.
And finally tonight, don't forget.
I'm Burger King making flavor Whoppers. I wear paper hats. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? Ding by the done, ding by the done, ding by the done, ding by the done. I gotta run, I gotta run, I gotta run, I gotta run. Don't buffer fries and hot fat, it really hurt bad and so the skin grabs. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? Where is the bell? Wait for the bell. Can't hear the bell. Where is the bell? Ding by the done, ding by the done, ding by the done, ding by the done. I work at Burger King making flavor Whoppers. I wear paper hats. Would you like an apple pie with that? Would you like an apple pie with that? Ding by the done, ding by the done, ding by the done, ding by the done.